No, there is another one, like, around this area, but I don't know where it is. Like, I don't look for right now. This hasn't been not much has happened in today's session, everyone. I mean, the internet kinda didn't help, but, slow burners this day. All this nonsense. Inaccessible. Orcs is everywhere. Uh-oh.
Clive.
There's Bahamut's wings.
Smoke. Is the city fallen?
We need the Bahamut's wings. Fly. Although you can't really fly. It'd be nice if you moved a little bit faster with the wings. It would be a nice perk of using Bahamut. Right, okay, something's about to go down. Get the pause champs ready. For Gondor! There's this city. That's completely boiling. Oh yeah. Oh wait, Odin's here. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
The free men are still holding their own then.
Do we have any idea where Gav and the others might be?
There's a warehouse near the docks where we agreed to meet if there was any trouble. We should hurry.
Never mind. The game wants me to do, yet again, more side quests. Why? Why? See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, it's so, I'll be honest, I know this is optional, so why would I complain? But this is just obnoxious. actually obnoxious. Like, oh, this city's on fire. Let's interrupt your gameplay by making you feel like you need to go over here to do these side quests. Like, it's just not thought about at all. It's like they made the game and then thought, oh, let's throw these things in there. It's just these side quests in there to pad out the game more than it unnecessarily needs to be. It's one of the biggest flaws with this game. And the completionist in me is obviously going to be like, well, we're going to carry on. So that's the next time on Dragon Ball Z moment kind of thing. Because it's just like, well, it's just...
If we're going to do
I feel like
this, we'll need...
it's the lack of
Clive,
direction on
your
the flow of
timing
this
is
game.
impeccable.
Honestly, it's a lack of
It
direction.
just so happens that right at
Sorry
this very
for speaking,
moment,
but-
we're in need of someone with your talents.
And what talents would
Kind
those
of ruined
be?
your own game.
Why, your fearlessness and your skill with a blade.
I'm listening.
Well, as I'm sure you're aware, when these dark skies swept over the Republic, so too did a wave of chaos and confusion. Randalar has been particularly badly affected. Many of the capital's
Randalar.
bearers have lost their masters, or taken the opportunity to flee them. None remain free for long, of course. Most find themselves under the protection of the Fist before they get far. But the army too is in disarray, and finds itself unable to provide for
I
its
get it.
You've been looking to buy, to make sure these masterless bearers remain that way.
Precisely. It's the perfect opportunity to free dozens more, and for an attractive price, no less.
So where does my skill with a blade come in?
Though we may have the funds to buy these bearers, we have nowhere to house them. So we've been searching for a place where they can be resettled. Somewhere far from the prying eyes of those who would see them enslaved once more. And we believe we have found one. Cashlock.
Cashlock.
A small hamlet hidden in a The place was abandoned a long time ago.
And so...
Oh, I get it. Alright, I know what they're going to ask.
How could I refuse?
Excellent. Theo, if you...
Of course.
Sounds like...
I will, even if so.
I don't know what they're asking to do. Do the side quests
You'll
expire?
find a village in Chedra's Thread, past Lateney's Cleft. My man there will open the gate for you.
I get it.
Right.
I'm sure you...
Right. Do they expire if not done in a certain time? I don't actually know for sure, because this is obviously my first play for it. But there's some that flow within the direction of the game. So if I go and do that and end up fighting... if I end up fighting Odin and progress the game forward, I might lose them. I don't actually know. But I kind of just like to do things along the way. Like I said, they're optional, so someone will just say my opinion on this is a waste of time because, you know, it's like, well, people will think that I'm just moaning for the sake of moaning because these are optional. So it shouldn't, in theory, affect the flow of the game, but people who play RPGs, especially from the Final Fantasy audience, will definitely be like, alright, well, I'm going to go and do these now and go completely off track. Now, some of these side quests are good, don't get me wrong, but there's just, it just feels like some of these are just put into content to stall the game longer than I think what it is. But I think we would have finished the game like 2 days ago had I not. Next time somebody says game's being padded out, I'm going to name Final Fantasy 15 and 16 for padding out. Watch them defend them. Bro. Oh, this is the way I can go. Make things. Oh, this is the shortcut, I think. I thought we don't attack goblins anymore.
This must have been a nice place once.
It will be again.
Yeah, I don't mind a slight diversion off the path when it's making you go all the way back and it's out of the flow of the game. It's completely different areas. It's just unnatural. Especially when most of them are just, since most of these are just, oh, clear these enemies from this area. They give you some backstory, but really you just go in and just defeat a pack of wolves, wipe out some bandits, fix some scales. Like it's not like, you know, it's just like. And the problem is, it's not like it's on the start of the game. It does it the further you get in, the more it happens. At the start of the game, it's all just constant content and it's good. And even with the side quests, it's 1 or 2 and it's not intrusive. But now it's like constant, non-stop. Like, they're not been thought about the placements of them. If you're gonna do it, have like, I like to do story then side quests. Story then side quests. So if the side quests can show up, I'd rather 10 of them will show up on the screen. And they can do like, right, we're gonna do side quests today. And then we'll do main quests afterwards. You know, the main quest is like the reward for completing the side quest kind of thing. Like, but not, they just keep throwing them in. Right, we're gonna go quickly save like Midge right now, and the whole city's in fire. Oh wait, side quest by the way. Like, that is just poor implementation. There's no defending, it's a bad game dev mode. It really is. I'll tell you where it comes from. I'll tell you exactly where it comes from. An MMO mindset. Yoshi P, Final Fantasy 14, and created this game. Well, this is why this happens. Because they think this is how you make a game. This is how games should be. And this is not how single player games should be. I understand it in an MMO culture setting that the idea is to stall the player. And if you're going to stall the player in a single player setting, that's fine. But not like this. I should think about where to put these side quests. I put them in such a bad order. And that will be in my review. That how I will be making very clear that this is bad direction. People won't like me for saying it, but it is a reality. It's bad direction for the flow of the quest. This is not an MMO. This is not a single player MMO. Like, it's just place them in the right moments of the game. When there's like respite moments, that's fine. The ones on the home, you know, when you finish a main part, when we beat Bahamut and then there's some side quests, that's fine. I'll do some side quests then, and then we can go through the flow of the main game again. But no, it just keeps throwing them in there, and it gets worse the further you get into the game. I don't dislike the actual quests. Most of them are really good. They got some cool lore in them. Well, some of them do. Like, they're not just a bunch of fetch quests. I mean, they're better than Final Fantasy 15 side quests, but that's different. That's a different conversation. It's hard to compare this. I reckon Yoshi P will give this because of the success of Final Fantasy 14. That's it. Big square nade. And don't get me wrong, the game's fantastic. I love the story of this game, but they've really staled the game out with this dragging stuff out nonsense.
I think that's the last of them.
I think you're right. Let's head back to Boklad.
They feel chory, and that is the problem. When you have something that feels like a chore in a video game, it makes you not want to do it. Some people like it, and that's fine. If you play only one game your whole life, but like honestly, it's not. I understand why this stuff works in an MMO, but it doesn't work.
Something the matter, Theodore? Quiet.
This will be a common critique, by the way.
Those are our
the game.
terms. I trust that you will give them your full consideration.
I shall. Thank you.
Him again.
Someone you know?
Yes. And, no. But enough about him. How did you fare down in Cashlock?
It's done. The village is safe now.
But there's still little tidbits
made
and
quick
breadcrumbs
work
in
of
these
it,
side quests
as
for
always.
another side quest.
I
But
should go and let Eloise know.
Don't let me keep you. But Clive, don't. She'll only get upset. I'll explain everything once you.
All right?
like, that guy is clearly sus or something.
Eloise, I just got back from Cashlock. The village should be safe now.
Thank you, Clive. Here, some. Well then, now that you have laid the groundwork for our little project, I suppose we'd better finish the job. The first thing we'll need to do is make sure our offer for the bearers is accepted.
You're still in negotiations.
We are. A trusted colleague has been dealing with the Fist on our behalf, but things have been trickier than we anticipated. I suppose it's to be expected. This is the army we're dealing with. Fighting's what they do. But we shall emerge victorious in the end.
Well, if you need any help.
I'm not sure I do. But thank you, all the same.
It is important. Oh, okay, he's gonna do it automatically.
Clive,
So it is important to talk to
You
the
wanted to
NPCs one more
talk?
time.
the man I was watching earlier, the one speaking to my sister. He represents the Silver Peak Consortium. It's one of the bigger trading houses.
I don't think I've heard of them.
Well, every trader in Dharmekia has. They operate across the length and breadth of the Republic, and they're still expanding. They've been trying to get Eloise to join their ranks for some time now, and judging by her reaction earlier, I'd say she had half a mind to accept their latest offer.
And you'd rather she didn't.
I would rather she did what makes her happy, and I would never deny her such an opportunity. Eloise saved me from slavery, and we have striven to save others like me ever since. But this was not the life my sister wanted, nor the one she deserves. I won't let her give up on her dreams again for my sake. She freed me from my bonds, and she must be freed from hers in turn.
You're a good man, Theo.
I have always been grateful for what my sister did for me, and I want to repay the favor by letting her live her own life. But each time an opportunity to do just that arises, she turns it down. For my sake.
She loves you.
And I love her. Which is why I want this time to be different. Though I'm sure I'll still need some help from time to time.
Always.
Thank you, Clive. Well then, these bearers aren't going to... That's a job for the Crimson Caravan. This could well be the last commission the Crimson Caravans undertakes.
See, here's the thing. Like, I don't mind quests popping up in the town that you've just done or something like, you know, that makes sense. It's a good flow to that, right?
It's only a matter of time before the...
If all the quests, the side quests that showed up in the last town that I was in, it's fine. But when it's like, okay, now we gotta go all the way back. Like, I know there's a fast travel system, but it's like, it loses flow. If the side quests are just here, they're fine. They're on the way. But it's a side quest that's now up here. And now I have to go back out to the main map. And then there's a side quest now over here. Now there's a side quest up here in Lost Wing, which is the one I'm probably interested in. But it's like, you know, like, I've got no problem with side quests. It's just the implementation and how they've been added are just all over the place. And it's not well implemented. Side quests are fine. The amount of them is, you could say, is fine. It feels like there's more than there actually is because of how they've been poorly implemented. And that's my problem with it. You drip and drab them out, one or two a go. And then, like, and you do them per area. And then later on you can have, like, moments of respite is when you do the open up the world, all places you've been before quests. So, like, when we beat Bahamut, for example, and you got, like, a chance to kind of, quote-unquote, check out the land or whatever, side quests that pop up here, here, and here, and here are fine because you're planning, you're mentally preparing yourself to go to different places, knock out these side quests, do that kind of stuff, do a few hunts. But then when you're about to do a key moment in the game, and then it's like, oh, actually, go backwards please. They keep slamming the brakes on in this game. And it's just... And I get that this is an optional brake slamming, but most players will want to do it. And that's the problem. Especially that these ones... Half of these expand the game, lore-wise, and they really do build to the game. And some of them don't, but you don't know which ones are good and bad.
Ah, Clive. Just the man I was hoping to see.
Oh? And why is that?
You remember how some of Sir Wade's guardians took up residence here after the Akashic attacked? Well, now the rest have come to join him.
See, already, I can tell you right now, this side quest would have been more suited after the next main quest. Because, do you remember that time that those guys joined our village, which happened, like, you know, at the start of today's stream? Like, that wasn't that long ago in the game. So after a major event, and then you go, remember those 6 guys? This is a quest that you would put after a big event where you have a moment of respite in the game. They put this side quest in already, just from the first two sentences from Martha, at the wrong part of the game.
Their barracks in the Lazarus have been lost to an ether flood. Now, I don't mind having
The
a few
game
more
would
brave
flow
boys
so
around
much
to
better
keep
if
them
had they not
animals at
done that.
bay.
And we
It
just
ain't
went
daft
straight into
after
it.
all.
Again, I know
Ain't
they're
got
optional,
nowhere for 'em to
but
bed
it's a major
down.
point
Poor
for most
buggers
players.
are having to make do with haylofts and chocobo pens. I'd build them a new barracks here if I could. But where would I put them?
And there'd be more
There just
people,
ain't
the
enough
player would be
room
more
up here on
interested
the
in the
rock.
side quest too.
Which leaves us in a bit of a pickle. The people we're counting on to keep us safe are living like beggars.
I see.
And it ain't just that lot. There's bears to think about too. There's been more and more of them turning up lately, coming from all over looking for safe haven. But there's only so many we can shelter with the room we've got. We can't keep cramming more and more people into less and less space. What we need is a new home for our new arrivals. And that's what I was hoping you might help me with. If it ain't too much of a burden, of course.
It's no burden.
It's no burden.
It is, but it's not.
Thank you,
It's not your
Clive.
fault, Martha.
So, where were you thinking of making this new home?
Well, I reckon we could do a lot worse than Eastpool.
And this is all building. This is all clearing new areas for new bearers and stuff. These
Eastpool.
quests are all the same.
It's been a long time since I thought about that place.
It was a tragedy, what happened. And if any of us could have done anything to
Go
stop
clear
it,
out the
we
bandits
would
up there.
have.
Here we
But
go.
what's done is done. And those who lived there wouldn't have wanted the village.
I suppose you're right.
The blight might be pressing in, but I reckon it's got a good few years left in it yet. There's just one problem. A band of cutthroats have made it their den. Nasty bastards they are. Would have sent someone to clear them out sooner, if my boy... But now...
I do.
That's
It-
fine. I don't need the rest of the conversation. The conversation's been overly dragged out as well. Like, that's why I skipped that text there, because it's making you want to skip the text because of it.
Have you heard the latest from Twinside?
Back to Eastpool, then.
I know exactly
Not just
where
yet.
that conversation would go.
Let's hear Wade's plan first.
And Jill's even acting like part, and I'd be like, really, Jill should be going, why are we back here? And you think
So
about
wait.
the layer, it doesn't even make sense that it's a time period thing, because this isn't the teleporting thing is a game mechanic. It's not an actual game lore thing. You don't just teleport from place to place. So,
It's good to see you well.
And you, Lord Rossfield. And you.
I spoke with Martha. She tells me you have plans to free Eastpool and make it your own.
That's right, though it was mostly her idea. I rather fear my men have been treading on her toes somewhat since joining us, not to mention each other's. And then there are the bearers, men and women who found the courage to flee their masters and sought refuge here. We need somewhere to settle them, and I can think of worse places than Eastpool.
As can I. Which is why I agreed to help you win it back.
That's very kind of you. I'd be most grateful if you would. With you beside us, we shall soon send that rabble of rogues running for the hills.
So, what can you tell me?
That thankfully there aren't too many of them. Fewer than a dozen at our last count. And rather less, thankfully. The road that leads there will more than likely still be crawling with Akashic. A small force would suffice to clear the village. But if the Akashic were to follow them in, that force could end up trapped between a
so
rock
you're telling me you want to put people near where the Blighted are, as well as where the Akashic are?
and a very hard place indeed.
I'll head into Eastpool and deal with the bandit. You and the Guardians can stay outside the village. Make sure I'm not...
I can't ask you to bear all that risk yourself, my lord.
The Akashic...
Well, I shall summon my men.
Shall I wait for you?
No need, my lord.
All right.
We shall see.
That could have been condensed down to 3 lines, by the way. It didn't need to be that long. Bom, ba-dum, ba-da-bum.
Who the hell are you?
Without talking, we're not even a follow-up conversation.
You will leave this place.
Or face the consequences. That's the end of that, then. Or maybe not.
Maybe not.
What's that thing doing here? Doesn't matter. It goes too.
Me and Joshua are steaming as well.
Any more surprises? I'll take that as a no.
Bravo. A magnificent display, my lord.
You were watching. I thought you were keeping an eye out for Akashic.
We were. Put down more than a few on the road, then arrived just in time to see you slay that... whatever it was.
It was a plan, mate.
Let's hope it was the last of its kind.
It was a plan.
Though I expect you and the Guardians will be up to the challenge should another appear.
Welcome back,
I
Ted.
would hope
I just
so,
had a
my
rant
lord.
about that, actually.
Your men will be bringing the bearers who'll be living here,
Or
I
a baby.
assume.
You can
It might be best to send word for them to come right away. Before any other unsavory characters move in.
Of course. I'll send orders for them to depart immediately. Leave it with me, my lord.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Yoshi P made an MMO, so he thinks that's how single-player games should be designed.
Without
It's
masters.
The side quests are fine. I actually like a lot of the content in the side quests. Some of them really build on the world. The problem is they are poorly implemented. They put them in at bad times in the video game. And you do the main quest, right? You say, like, you know when the Bahamut quest happened? That's when you do the quests that dot around the world. You have to revisit places. If you throw a few side quests along the journey on the same village that you've just visited for the first time, for example, like Tabor, that's different. That's fine too. But when you go like, oh, the city's on fire, let's go help them. And then, oh, but there's some side quests. That is poor implementation and poor design. In my opinion.
Masters now.
It's not thought
Our
about.
lives
It's almost
are
like they didn't play
our
part of the
own
game. Or they added it in and didn't and then they weren't
That's
interested.
all of them. And not a single Akashek in sight.
Works in MMOs
Now
where
to
your
begin the
content's so
important work
intentionally,
of
not in
rebuilding
this.
the place. It won't be easy. Especially not after 5 years of beasts and blackguards having their wicked way with the
Especially to
place.
a player base that are absolutely not probably MMO players. Most people playing this game haven't played Final Fantasy 14 primarily. You know, I'm not saying they haven't played both, but I'm saying people who play Final Fantasy 14 will be used to MMOs and will be fine with this. 14 players will probably have no issue with this whatsoever. But people who only played a single player Final Fantasy game will actually have problems with this. Unless, again, you skip them because they are optional. But
The masonry might still be sturdy enough, but half the beams are rotted. Those that weren't lost in the fire or burned by the bandits, that is.
and it's
It'll
because
take a
of the
bit
flow of the
elbow
game,
grease,
Ted.
But we'll see Eastpool rise again. Just you wait.
So wait. Lady Hannah is buried here. If you don't mind, I'd like Oscar to join the rebuilding efforts. He should be a part of this.
Of course. I couldn't agree more.
I'll let Martha know that everyone arrived safely. If
Great.
you need anything more,
Do I need
you
to
have
go
only
back
to
to
send a
Martha though?
Stolas.
Do I need to?
And we will, my lord.
Great.
Eastpool lives again.
So this is nice.
let's go and
Look,
tell Martha the good news.
this is nice. This is a redemption for Eastpool with you know, there's a nice story in this side quest. But you know when this side quest would have been good? After what I presume is going to be fighting Odin or dealing with like potentially the next part of the main quest, right? When we go, you know, when we're let's all go back to the hideaway and we'll do some other stuff like that. Yeah, I even liked the Charon quest, you know, with wet legs and all that. But they just put them in at really bad moments of the game, and it's just like that's what makes it frustrating. You're just ruining the play, especially because the start of the game flows. The story hits so well, and it's flowing, and it's not the few side quests you get are not interrupting the game in any way necessarily. But then like it just got a bit. We need to pad the game out, keep adding more in kind of mindset, or they made them, but they just didn't know where to put them.
Ah, there you are. All went well then. Sir
Ah,
Wade told me you got rid of the bandits while his lot kept an eye out.
Yeah, I
Nicely
can
done.
understand why you felt bad now.
And what's all this about some shape-shifting nightmare showing up? On second
Because the game
thoughts,
is
don't
good, the
tell
game
me.
is fun, the story is
It'll only
fantastic.
give me nightmares of my own. What matters is
It's just
you
the
did it.
direction of the
And now
game.
we can build
I
our
just
new
not.
village.
That's my problem with the game.
I suppose it will be.
The direction of the game.
What will you call
Sorry,
it?
Yoshi P, but
What else?
I understand you can make
Eastpool.
success out of 14, but
Sir
I can
Wade
understand
said
that
it best.
I'm beginning to see the real criticisms of this game. People have been slating this game, not calling it real Final Fantasy. I wouldn't go that far. Like that's just excessively bad, just as unnecessary internet hate. You know, I wouldn't even pay attention to anything on Metacritic. But I feel like a real critic is the directing of the game is a kind of skewerfy. Like it's like, you know, it's better than 15 by a landslide, right? But you know, it's and even the side quests are way more interesting. But like, it's just not the interrupting the flow of a good game story. Like the person who made this game's written by someone who's clearly inspired by Game of Thrones, right? The Game of Thrones doesn't. Okay, for most of the good seasons, for most of the show, they don't throw filler nonsense stuff in that have no impact or put things in at the worst moments that have no significance to that moment. You know, they did it in a way that it would all flow when they did put parts of filler in. You know.
Plenty bad happened to that place, but that don't undo the good that happened there. No need to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Did Wade say that?
Well,
At least
something
it
along
was
those lines.
something.
Anyway, the poor souls might have made it to Eastpool, but their work ain't done yet. So the way I see it, neither is mine. If it's food or lumber or strong backs
I
they
agree
need,
with what?
the rest is ready to provide it.
Thank you, Martha.
No, thank you. You didn't have to help us.
No element
I
of,
wanted to.
Did I not respond to that? So there's no elemental affinities. Seems the main benefit gaining new powers ability to combo for longer. That's another thing that bothers me in the combat. The elemental, I've said it before, the elemental affinities, like there's no point. I'll be honest with you right now, they are fun, right? But there is no point in having them all. They literally could have just given you 3 for the whole game, called it a day, and just built on gaining new abilities. Because it's not like I should... The long and short is you can equip whichever ones you want. I can take out Bahamut, put Titan on, Garuda, whatever, right? But there's no point. It's just pick your favorite one. It's not even combo chains. It's just pick your favorite. They all every single one of them has their own uses. Like Titan's good for countering and stuff like that, but like it is honestly just pick your favorite. There is no difference really in reality between them all. Someone will be like, well, actually, Marsh, but there really isn't any difference. Like if I'm going against an enemy that has fire affinity, yeah, you know what? I assume we get her. You know, I'm going to put on the ice element. I haven't got it yet, so I don't want to jump the gun. But like, say if I fight, okay, I'm going to rephrase that. Say if I fight something that's, you know, of the ice element, then great, I need Phoenix, right? If I need something that, you know, it makes sense, or light and dark, because they're clearly going with light and dark with Bahamut and then probably Odin. Like, there's cues here. There's perfect elemental you know, ice I think is definitely gonna be one, you know, whether I like it or not. But the winds and the rock can be counters to each other. Like Rama could be, or you know, you can there's room for it, you know. Well, again, it's another wasted opportunity. It's the same that goes down with the equipment. Everything's just a stat boost. There's nothing special about having a Regal Sash over a Drake Slayer over a Metean Cross, apart from the stat. And it's just a lack of it's a lack of there's a lack of thought gone into it. Like there's so many other so many other JRPGs and even MMOs have different ability and different equipment that do different reactions and different things to give you a general build. MMOs, you make builds for characters and you have to deal with multiple stats to make an overall build or go for certain types of builds and stuff. There's no builds in this game. There's literally nothing. Like, don't get me wrong, gameplay very fun, but the word basic is a good way to describe this system. The combat would be so much more fun with things like elemental and status affinities. You know, it would be way more fun. And I don't think anyone would disagree with me. Unless you're extremely casual great game it is. But hey, guess what? There's an easy mode there's an easy mode and equipment that makes things super easy for you if you don't want to deal with stuff like that. So gamers can enjoy the gamer aspect, and then people who just want an easy story mode can enjoy that aspect too. There's like, you know, that's fine. So why take it away from the main game? I need to remember all this subcredits in my view. Also, I wouldn't say I overhated 15. I just was frustrated with 15. 15 is frustrating, not hateful. I think the game should have been better than what it was, but that's also because they changed the direction of it. But I'll speak up.
I'll be taking you all to a storehouse in the Bales. Leave anything you don't need behind.
This quest here, right? This is 100%. We're about to deal with the Black Coats War, right? Or whatever it is, right? I did the first part of this side quest like 2 major events ago, and this Lost Wing's been in this same state for the entire time. Since then, the sky has changed color, and not one of them are mentioning it. This side quest should have followed directly afterwards. We should have done the side quest for Lost Wing about, oh, Quentin's like, oh, the war's about to happen. We had to fight my old associate. And then this one only pops up now? Before another major... What bad timing to implement this quest? It makes no sense. It's just all over the place. And that's this quest proves my point. You got 2 side quests that follow on with each other. Now, in my opinion, this side quest should be in the main story anyway, not the nonsense main filler stuff that they put in between each thing.
I won't let you down.
This side quest here would have been a fantastic in between Titan and Bahamut thing. Oh, troubles are brewing in Lost Wing. Need to go speak to Quentin. And Quentin's like, my old associate is like trying to wage war on me with the Black Order of Black Knights, and then you go into doing the Bahamut stuff, and it would have been a nice flow through, and it would have flowed the game really well.
Clive, I fear that I must bid you farewell. As you know, our time grows short. The Lord Chief Justice's vultures are circling. We must strike now. Before we part, I want you to...
Especially with the fact that the Empire has been crushed at this point. So why is the Lord Chief still after this village anyway? See, it makes no sense.
know that, though I may not always have been your most vocal ally, I trust you, as I trusted your predecessor.
Thank you. I appreciate the sentiment, and I understand more than anyone how you feel. But is revenge really the answer?
You can spam this game if you want holy and you still win.
And it is all that I have lived for.
I don't want to interrupt this quest because this quest is actually interesting. You can spam your attacks on this game and you would still win 80% of the time. Major fights a bit different. S-class fight bounties a bit different. But all the other stuff, you could spam your abilities, then dodge, wait for your abilities to reset, which don't even take that long anyway. Vice versa. I actively choose to make them flow in this game for you guys who are watching, for me to, because it's way more fun. I don't just spam and attack, and I'm doing everything in a system intentionally to make the game, to stop the game from being stale, battle-wise.
Since that day.
But what of Lostwing?
The fact that I can manipulate the game like that and do it like make it more
entertaining
is questionable.
Once it is done, the village will have served its purpose. My comrades and I are sure of our cause, and we shall fight to the last, come what may. But there are those among us who cannot fight. Children, the elderly, bearers afflicted by the curse. I would place Lostwing in their hands, if I thought it would do them any good. But a village home only to the frail and the infirm is not likely to stay a safe haven for long. And so, Clive, I find myself turning to you once more. Will you take them to your hideaway, that they might live even should Lostwing die?
I will.
I will.
Thank you. I will not have it said that I did not see to the well-being of those who rallied to my cause. The people I speak of have withdrawn to Gotan's Bales, away from danger in case the Black Shields strike.
Understood. I'll make sure they get to the hideaway safely.
Then the last of my preparations are complete. Fare you well, Clive. And may Griga guide us. All of us.
Yeah, I mean, like, they put all of the design into the summon fights and the spectacle fights, and they are really fun, and there's a lot of thought gone into those. But then there's a lot of thought not gone into the rest of it. Honestly, part of me thinks this game could have come out next year, and it would have been a better game. But I don't know how long this game was in development.
Those who cannot join us in the coming fight are gathered at Gotan's Bales.
Why don't I just fight with you?
Come then, brother. We are awaited in Gotan's Bales.
Why would Joshua even speak here and be like, oh, you know, like, why don't we just fight and protect Quinton? And fight together and win the war. But like I said, there is, you know, they just keep messing up the flow. I don't think they did that. This game was announced after that. I'm not saying it wasn't in development, but nah. There's been games that have come out that have been remarkable that also dealt with the same situation, so 14's quality never dropped, so I don't know about that one. I know it's updates, but like that's the money maker. I don't think the COVID situation is a hindrance to this game, considering Horizon Forbidden West exists. They survive. Elden Ring exists. They survive. Same budgets in reality as well. Same level of game money going into those. you know. So ain't no way you can just put it on that anymore. Some games I understand. For example, Silk Song is a fantastic example that probably got hit by it, but again, it's a very small team. It's an indie games, although they don't have the resources, basically. You know, everyone had a hard time with COVID. Said you can't just say Japan. China had a worse time with it. Some games in China they stopped everything because they were really strict about it. But everyone, there was a lot of working from home from the entire industry, and everything went stalled. Look at the 1 year that Stranger Paradise, was it Stranger Paradise? 2020, when Last of Us 2 came out, it was The Last of Us Award. With Ghost of Tsushima and stuff, right? There's been plenty of fantastic games that have come out since then that have not initially. From those countries too. I can name some gacha games off the top of my head that have absolutely hit the mark. I'm trying to think of a Japanese game that's done extremely well recently, but I'm struggling in my head without coming out the game and going through and go, yeah, this game.
Quentin has asked that you come with me. He can no longer guarantee your protection, but I can. There's a safe place I can take you to.
Well, if that's what the master thinks best.
And if it was, you'd tell from the production of the story. Nah, the story is top tier. It's not. I don't think it's it.
Sid, none of us.
Because they didn't have to release this game when they did. They could have, if they wanted to. They feel this game's finished. They put a lot of work into this game. They know that. I just don't think they understood its flaws until it released.
We'd be standing here today if it weren't
Which is
for
what happens to a
Master
lot of
Quentin.
games.
We owe him our lives.
I don't think the game's bad.
So
It's not fair to say it
what
suffered
he
from
should do with
COVID.
his. If he's saying we ain't safe in Lostwing no more, it's because he ain't coming
I'm
back.
saying this as
If that's what has to happen,
direction
then
does not make
so
sense.
be it. I only hope he can see this through to
From
the
a director of an MMO game,
We get to see justice
this is
done.
fine to them.
I hope so too.
Oi!
Also, why I don't consider the online MMO games as mainline games. This is exactly why, and this is I know why you won't like 14, for the most part. Not because it has a bad story, but because of the
Where's everyone
direction of the
else?
game.
They ain't already left, have
How
they?
they drip it out.
They've gone with Master Quentin.
Fuck! Fuck! Fuck!
What's wrong?
I've just come from the Justice's manor. We have to get Quentin to call off the attack. It ain't just the Black Shields protecting the place. He's got a guard dog and all. A fucking monster. They don't stand a chance against that thing. If I don't get the message to them, they're all gonna
We're
fucking
never
die.
go back on that because
We can't let this
they
happen.
made mistakes and they won't ever do that.
Sid, don't worry about us. You've got to
They'd just
catch
be an
up with him.
uproar.
We can't let Quentin die before that bastard does.
Also, consumers are
I'll
the
do what I
ones that
can.
make the decision, really. To be honest with you. Consumers.
Where is this manor?
It's way over to the east, through the woods. Heaven Hall, he calls it.
Promise us, Sid. Promise us you'll do what you can.
Considering there's a hot topic right now of what's a real Final Fantasy and all this stuff. Or I see them like games in it right now.
I still haven't
No one
paid
mentions
Quentin
them
back for
games.
saving my life. So don't...
Please, Sid, you've got to catch up with him.
The manor's to the east of Lostwick, through the woods.
Yo, Trev, how's it going? What you people are leaving for? What? Why is it all the way over here, bro? What? Alright, sure. Let's just chat about Final Fantasy. Oh, I get side quested left, right, and center in this game. Wait, oh. Well, saying that, where's the S-Class fight? I don't know what the S-Class fight is. I have no interest in looking for it today, so
Very well.
Like, there's a really, really interesting quest going on about these not assassins, but like Secret Service kind of people that were in the Roswell, and now I can't even, like, I think I haven't done that corrupted. This could be it. Deep is in more mechanically, or define what you mean by deep, please. Interesting. Said I actually agree with you. It's not as fun, but if anything, this is what it take the fun part of the gameplay from this and the mechanics in Stranger of Paradise put together. You'd have to write Stranger of Paradise in the book. Should have been more like DMC game. Had Stranger of Paradise played more like DMC, but with the same class system, much better. I'm telling you right now, if you take the DMC system or this kind of system on the Stranger of Paradise class system, it would work so well. Apart from my most frustrating thing about Stranger of Paradise is you level something to level 30 and then it reduces. You switch to the upgrade. You upgrade that class, and then you go back to level 1 and you lose all your stats. It should be a progression system like Lance or Dragoon, but you keep your stats and you can only get better. But maybe it's like 10 extra levels instead of another 30 levels, because you find yourself getting nerfed. Square won't care. One thing I actually have a lot of respect for Square is that when they decide on a product, they stand by their thing. They don't listen to their player base that much, which is good and bad. It means they stand to it. There's nothing worse than when a gaming company or a company panders too much to the customers or consumers and let them run the company for them. It usually ends in tears. But Square's every game they do, every time they've released a AAA game, they stick to their guns. There was like criticism around the remake saying, we wanted a 1-for-1, and they just like, they were like, well, we're doing our own thing, like it or don't like it, and they are stuck to their guns, and that's a good example. So it does work, and sometimes it should listen to certain aspects, but...
Clive, look.
No. Don't tell me we're too late.
Give them a pile of psycho story. Streamline the grinding in Stranger Paradise. The grinding was horrendous, isn't it? Again, like, if Yoshi P did Stranger Paradise, it might have been mechanically a much better game, funnily enough. You're getting a PS5 next week? Yo, that's awesome, Trev. I'm really happy for you. You can finally jump into some of the games you've missing out.
Quentin, are you all right?
No. But I am alive.
Well,
which is more than I can say for my comrades. They followed me without question all the way here. And they died. For nothing.
This must be the guard dog, Quentin.
Problem is,
I'll hold it off.
Stranger of Paradise
You go.
post games. There is no post game.
Your comrades
Play the
didn't
same
die
levels
for
over and over
nothing.
and over.
They died for you. Don't let their sacrifice be in vain.
I won't.
You getting the digital one? I mean, a lot of things are digital now anyway.
That is no mere guard dog.
No. Just a rabid beast that needs to be put down. Nice try. Too slow.
Bro, really? Oh, I didn't. I want one perfect combo again. Bro, I am pressing R1, bro. PC. There we go. Go. To be honest with you, that was very fun to put together. I'll set that whole thing up. That was the, you can spam that fight if you could, if you wanted to. But I chose for, I wanted to finish it. I didn't get to use all of my gigabytes.
If only we'd arrived earlier.
I am interested in your combos you kept talking about, said, but I feel like some of those are connected to Bahamut, but not maybe ones after as well.
Is it over?
It is. He wept and begged for mercy.
Took him.
And I cut him from ear to ear.
Guys,
just as I dreamed of doing all these years.
He's insane.
All my plans. Building a haven in Lostwing. Freeing bearers from their chains and recruiting them to my cause. It was all for this. But what is this? Justice? My faithful comrades. All those lives lost. So that I might take another.
Quentin.
Master Quentin! Oh, thank Grieger you're safe.
You're alive.
And so are you. I'm so sorry. I tried to warn you about that thing. And I hate to say it, but there's more bad news.
The plot thickens.
It's Lostwing. It's been flooded.
What?
Telling you, this should have been in the main quest, this whole thing. Whole moment should have been the main quest. Why is this a side quest, bro? Why is this a side quest? But building mid-ship is the main quest. And how long it took to do. You say flooded, but I think it's like, oh, well, lucky new everybody got.
Lostwing. My Lostwing.
Isn't it good that people go out?
And look who's here.
They must have stolen in after we left, just before the flood struck. What if there are still people in there?
Don't be a fool!
If they are, they've already turned me.
Damn it.
No, that was the main quest.
Quentin's not going to last long in there.
Then we finish this quickly.
Oh, I didn't mean to be in there. Yeah, it's because it pretty much was. Also, one more thing I would change. When you change element, your sword attacks aren't all fire. Like, if you change to Rummer, you use... Your sword does, like, electric attack. If you change to winds, you do wind attack. Not that it matters for elemental affinity, but I think it would be cooler. And then you switch to the Hummer, you do light blade attacks, right? With magic anyway. I know it's the power of Bifrost, but it feels like it works. I like Mega Player, it takes too long to charge up there. It's fun though. I do like magic. The magic we shoot is based off our element. Yeah, aesthetically as well. I think that's probably the why I want it to be like.
I need to find Quentin.
Quentin! Wait, did he die? No way.
Quentin! Quentin! Look at me! Thank the Founder. He hasn't turned. I'm going to get you out of here. Welcome back to the land of the living.
Is Lostwing?
The flood has filled the valley.
I see. Then all is at an end. A strange way to achieve one's life's ambition.
No, Master Quentin. Save your strength.
We didn't even get to see the showdown to his enemy. The person that he had a rivalry with.
Why?
That's been the main quest with us all, the whole thing. Should have fleshed it all out.
All that I strove for is gone. Only emptiness remains. I have nothing left to live for.
What the heck are you on about? You've got us, ain't you? Don't try telling me you only freed us so you could get revenge. We're more than that to you, and we all know it.
I thought you weren't coming back. But I prayed, and you did. There's got to be a reason for that, right? Can't we just go back to how it was? You know, you looking after us all.
Your work ain't over yet, Master Quentin. We believed that you were the right man to lead us, and we still do.
Your village may be lost, but it seems your people aren't, so long as you remain to guide them.
But why? After what I Why would anyone follow me?
Because we're family, aren't we?
Family?
Yeah. And all our comrades who went with you, they felt the same. Lostwing weren't just a village. It was all of us.
It was. And as long as we're still here, it is too.
We can start again. Build a new Lostwing. Right here in the Bales.
Is that the brother and sister we found earlier? The other side quest on the left?
A fresh start. One life ends.
I like Quentin as a character.
And another begins.
I thought Quentin was a very
Just a
interesting
village.
character in the game.
We could build towns. A nation, even. What's to stop us?
That's the Master Quentin we know.
Please. I am nobody's master. Quentin will suffice. After all, we are family.
Mayor Quentin. He's the mayor.
Permit me to withdraw my request. I will no longer be needing your help in looking after my people.
I'll pretend you never asked.
But you must be rewarded for your efforts on our behalf. You saved my life twice over. And more besides.
A bottle or two of your finest red will suffice.
Of course. Nothing but the best. And I have a feeling that this year's vintage will be the finest yet. If you don't mind waiting, that is.
I look forward to it.
100%. They could have put this in the main story, and they could have just, like, in between all the major events, and it would have flowed really well, and they could have had a better ending. As in, like, I mean, like, better endings, like, you could have seen his enemy and what kind of stuff like that. Yeah. But I liked it, and I like Quentin. He's a good character.
They are right, you know. Lostwing can be rebuilt. It was more than a mere village. More than a staging ground for revenge. It was a vision of how life might be.
One vision.
Of how we who have suffered can come to find family again.
Fantastic.
I'd have followed Quentin to that manor if I could have done, and I'll keep following him now. Wherever that surly bastard cares to lead us.
Master Quentin needs us now.
Quentin's gonna build us new Lostwing, and I'm gonna help.
Does this all still come to the... I think I'm beginning to understand why these places have fallen into the flood. It's these. It's our teleport, isn't it? I'm convinced that this is because of the teleport. The obelisk. Lore-wise, they are what's causing the flood. And that's why they're flowing now, because they weren't flowing before. Good observation there, Marsh.
Did you see the pair that got pulled into time?
My Lord Marquis, that some of my fellow Guardians are to build a new home there.
It's true. The village is to be rebuilt.
Also, like these follow-up conversations that don't even
I have many fond
give you
memories
indication
of
they're
Eastbourne.
available.
When I was a child, we would visit my aunt and uncle often. They would lavish attention upon me as if I were the son they never had. I went to see Aunt Hannah after my uncle passed away, but
Not nearly as often as I should have.
Oscar, I'd like you to assist Sir Wade in the rebuilding efforts.
But my lord, my training is not yet complete. I couldn't possibly.
I warned you I might not be the easiest of masters, but I'm not as hard-hearted as that. Go. Be with your aunt. Rebuild her home.
You weren't doing anything here anyway.
That's what she would have wanted.
It's an order.
Yes, my lord. Thank you, my lord.
A reference? Yeah, the ones linked to the channel. The ones linked to the channel that I have enabled, or are the ones that already are part of the channel if you're subbed. Also, if you type exclamation mark BTTV, you can see the ones that I've enabled for BTTV. 7TV are just kind of open season. I don't have a control of 7TV. I can't even see the wine time one. No, mate, what's the command? Oh, exclamation mark emotes, my bad. Type exclamation mark emotes, you'll see the ones that were created for the channel as well. It went that one, this one. Yeah, there you go. Those ones there are all created from the community. The ones that are standard emotes like wine time and stuff won't be on there because they are global emotes that you can use in any channel. Those ones are specific for this channel that I can't put on my Twitch channel because Twitch limit the amount you can have. Twitch limit the amount of emotes you can get for being a sub, which is silly to me. Twitch could be Twitch. Is Yote here now? I'm gonna find Yote. Saying that tea time, I should add to them.
Did you see that?
The tea time is this channel's one as well. Do you think?
Do you like being struck by thunderbolts from on high? Then don't let anything happen to me.
Lost Wing. I was just there. Bro, I'm... Bro. One yet survives. The zealot, the evil claws. Oh, I need to go find the one in Lost Wing. So we're going back to Lost Wing.
How may I help you today, Clive?
The Moogle does speak, but not in our language.
It's not true.
This also annoys me. That we say the first sentence, first two lines, and then not the rest of the line. It makes me not want to pay attention.
Your benefactors are a generous lot. You earned this. All done?
Talisman of Climate. Watch me not equip this. Right, there's an enemy here I need to find. Is he gonna make me jump? Well, they've really made this place look fine. Considering this was a town we used to visit regularly. count as Lost Wing? It might be. There he is. So this guy, a cannon.
Bring out your bearers! Let me and my mortar purge them of their sin!
You'll regret doing my mother's bidding.
Execute 3 precision dodge 3 times while charging a single Mega Player. Giga Chad trophy. So you know that's the thing. Gain all the special trophies without even trying. Ow, 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 ow.
You're not leaving. Too slow. Too slow. Let's try it.
Bro, it's so fun. Mega Player is so fun, man. Ogre should be an emo.
Oh my god! A huge swarm is coming. They are billions of them. They are approaching from all sides.
Yo, OMG with a raid. How's it going, man? Thanks for lurking in earlier on as well. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you're enjoying Sonic Adventure. And the end of Sonic 1, maybe? Doing any extra streams?
Your work here is done.
Do you like Sonic or... Oh, plays more than Sonic. He just got done doing a Sonic thing. Like Sonic, OMG's your guy. He also plays lots of amazing games. It's still one more day? Wait, is it 31 days? Or am I just going insane? Oh wait, it's the 30th for me. I'm just... I always forget sometimes to look at the date and realise that my date's ahead. Oh, we got one more day. Nice. Hope you had a great stream then, man. Thank you so much for the raid. Appreciate you. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? We are doing... Three different versions of one controller. What were you doing? I'm thinking of Sonic Adventure 2. Were you doing like... I'm just trying to remember which one. Sonic Adventure is the one where you can... No, that's Sonic Adventure 2. Sonic Adventure is the one with the robot, right? There's like... Were you doing different versions, different play styles all at once kind of thing? Oh, Dreamcast, GameCube, and PC. Oh, wow, that's interesting. That sounds a challenge as well, to be honest with you. Oh, Sonic Adventures Primer. No, you do play as the other characters, but it's in like separate playthroughs. I remember you can play as like Amy and stuff. I remember. I preferred Adventure 2. I think that's quite a common take. To be fair, I think it's just faster and flows better. Adventure 2 is one with all the bugs as well, isn't it? Which is funny. It's got the notorious speedrun. We got a clap emote. We don't have those on. We just got a normal clap. It's just clap. I don't know where the other one is. It says in a woodland area, but I don't want to put forth time to look for it. Could be anywhere.
Did you see that?
Did you see that? Oh, to be fair. Right. I think that wraps up Final Fantasy 16 for today, though. This one's been kind of a slow burner session today. I don't think anything made... Well, we had some main stuff obviously happen. We had the side quest occur. No, sorry. We had the event where we found out about the Secret Service and all that stuff that was happening. You might show up on here. The Undying. The Undying, which was an interesting part of the game, where you found out about like Yote and what they are, protecting like Joshua and stuff. Yeah, then the rest of it was unfortunately padded out by side quests and bounties. And then you get to do the one bounty I was kind of interested in doing, which was the S-Class one. But we could pick that up maybe tomorrow, as the first thing we do. Then we'll go into the main quest and have some fun with that. So very early in tomorrow's stream, we'll be straight onto the main mission. Fortunately, just in case it's like another hour on the main mission, I don't want to jump into it now. So I'd rather just jump on that tomorrow and when we refresh. I've said what I'm about to say about the side missions now. Whether they'll keep doing this or not, but they really just dished out the side quests poorly in this game. And it's not because the side quests are bad, it's that they just are thrown in at a random... It's like a roll of a dice. Oh, we're going to have these quests now show up. There's no flow between them. So, and I feel like that has just definitely been misdirected. It's very MMO-y, and it makes sense that it's MMO-y considering, you know, it's Yoshi P, but at the same time, I feel like we're missing... It really deflows the sort of flow of the game. Considering the start of the game, none of this is prevalent. You can have a quest that flows... You can do side quests in an area when you're in the area, and when you do major parts of the game, have it open up the world and do some side quests when you go back to places. That's fine, but overall, I just feel like they just completely lost track of how to do the side quests in this game. And it is one of the fundamental things. That and the elemental status resistance thing with the game mechanics. I feel this game's two major flaws. I think everything else about this game is solid, by the way. But yeah, they're two key mechanics and they're not the worst things to fall in. But I I feel like they definitely, you know, upset the game in a way. You know, for more of a traditional RPG or even just a traditional game. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on it all. Hope things are flowing better. Fingers crossed in terms of story. We get more story done, and looking forward to it. We'll see you in the next session. See you.